Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and with the part 2 of the bouldering action from Exilecon. This time around, we were in a bouldering gym called Boulder Co. It's a newer gym, and it's about, I'm going to say, 2 to 3 times the size of the previous gym. For this edition, we had Quinn once again with his backpack and taking over his stream. We had Steelmage, Nugiyen, Instability01, and Localidentity. That is the PoE guy, and as you can see, he's a giant. At least compared to us small boys. I mean, I think we're almost the same height. I think he's just wearing slightly bigger shoes, which is pretty much the difference. 203 centimeters over my 167 definitely makes a bit of a difference. So first things first, we had to get inducted since it's a new gym. As always, the instructors have to show you how to fall and certify that you won't be damaging yourself immediately all of the time. And this little section out to the left of the gym that you can just see in the background is actually pretty cool. It's basically more or less the kids section, which is something I haven't seen any gyms do before. Gym's so big that there's one big section off to the left that's basically just for kids, so that whenever there's kids parties and functions or whatever, or lots of kids, they can run over to the left-hand side and just mess around there, which is really good, because if you've gone climbing before at gyms, you know that there is going to be some kids running around and they can run under you when you're climbing and they don't know what the fuck, and they get in the way. So that's cool. Either way, this here is the little section. You can still do some climbs here. There's much easier climbs to kind of just get around and get started on, maybe warm up on. Obviously no kids here at the moment. We went during the day on Monday, something like midday, which means there wasn't really anyone else here, and it was pretty much just us, maybe a few other people. So huge gym all to ourselves. And they also had a slide off to the left that you can go down just for a bit of funsies. Once we got nice and inducted, aka did the proper falling method, and he saw that we're all going to be okay, even though Quinn looks like he's damaged his neck off that one. I think he was just having a sore neck for the entire day, unrelated to the induction process, I'm pretty sure. Once that happened, we moved over to start climbing. We'll just watch this one more time, and nice safe fall, terrific. Hopefully just get a bit of a tour of the gym real quick, so you can see this is on the right hand side. There's two major sections, and then they've also got around one of those sides an archway and also a really deep cave. I've never seen a boulder gym have a cave this long before. It goes all the way back, and it gives you quite a lot of roof climbing action if that's what you're into. It's very tiring, and yeah, a bit of a waste, as the setters said in the end, that putting that into the gym, because it ultimately doesn't get used that much, since it's very tiring, especially for more beginner style people. You try it, you know, gas yourself out pretty damn quick, and then it's just kind of a waste of space. But I think it's a cool feature for sure. You can see there's a bit of a workout area, and then they've got 2 different moon boards and also several different campus rungs and sort of training situation. They've also got up in the middle of the gym a really big just gym area where you can work out, do various weights and stuff. And then we came while they were resetting one of the walls, so that's why there's setters there doing some resetting action. Overall, really cool gym. They've also got a big spray wall there. Spray wall just being a bunch of random holds kind of put up on a wall that you can just train with, mess around with, make your own little routes with. They don't get reset pretty much ever. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool gym, pretty out of the way, and obviously in another country, so I won't really be getting to use it too frequently, but it'd be cool to have something like this in Adelaide. So naturally, we started off by fucking around a bit. They have next to their campus area a pegboard, which I have seen in other videos and shit, and never actually got to try out before. Haven't been to a gym that has one. Basically, they are a training tool where there's a bunch of holes, a couple of pegs, and you just go up and down, placing the pegs in a controlled, methodical manner, which just really trains your upper body strength for pure lock-offs, because you basically have to lock off with one arm to be able to place your next peg, and it's a very difficult exercise. So I can only really do it, let's say recently, the past few years, because my arm lock-offs are good enough, whereas probably the first 5 years of climbing or some shit, you shouldn't realistically be doing this in a good enough manner to justify doing it. Like, you can fuck around on it and give it a shot and all that, as you see here. I was telling Quinn to basically not do it because it's not good for you if you're not like properly trained and ready. You just possibly hurt your elbows or some shit like that. But that didn't stop our man of confidence, and honestly didn't do too bad, all things considered. I didn't really expect him to even be able to pull up that one time. But yeah, the idea is that you pull up, lock off with one arm, and then in a controlled fashion place a peg in another area. So we moved on, started some climbing. The easiest climbs of the gym, I think, were the blue tags, the blue holds. So once again, start on a certain hold. They've got two black circles indicating where your start hands should be. You then go right to the end, once again match with your hands on the finish, and then that indicates a finish. So Instability gave the first blue tag a shot and did it pretty cleanly, and yeah, just some nice beginning holds, and did it well, got pretty tired, and that was a good start. Good to see people having a go, for sure. He was a bit tired, and he's already like, yep, I'm out of here, fuck this shit. So yeah, still just getting into the sport, obviously. Did have a few people try the blue tag, just, you know, get warmed up, get started and all that. This guy here is trying purple tag. Purple tag for them was the third hardest, I think. Third hardest, maybe? Third or fourth hardest? I don't know. Purple tags were typically pretty hard in this gym. I can't remember exactly the hierarchy, but it was shown earlier in the VOD that I wasn't paying attention to because I was talking. Quinn also did this blue tag. Pretty good form. Nothing too serious here. It's more what's called a traverse, which is basically just going sideways and focusing a bit more on your form technique as opposed to just going straight up and using some kind of muscle or power. Yep, got another one here. We then got Steelmage doing this other blue tag. So it's a bit more of a ladder-esque sequence and pretty straightforward stuff. This is what beginner climbs should look like, and should be pretty comfortable for most people, so that pretty much anyone can get into the sport and start having a go. We moved over to another area. I managed to catch this one like midway through, I think. It's Nugiyen on a green tag. I think green tags were the next step up from the blue tags, so a little bit harder. It did get substantially harder, let's just say, compared to the blue tags. So blue tags very entry level. Green tags still kind of entry level, but you probably wouldn't really expect to get too many of those if it's your first session. It's definitely a little bit of a step up. Beyond that, I think was maybe yellow tags, and did a few of those, or orange tags. I don't remember. Anyway, I think we see Steel on a blue tag here once again. Plenty of blue tags all over the gym, so lots of stuff to do for the entry-level climber. Yep. Some of that. Gotta, you know, keep your own chat, wanting more, entertained, that sort of thing. This is, of course, not really my stream. It's just a takeover, we called it, by the old Mathel 1. So then I also am just warming up on a blue tag. I do typically like to do the easiest climbs a few of, and then slowly ramp up. And one thing you'll notice is I put my foot on the yellow volume there and on the red volume there. Typically that is okay. A volume is usually free game, so a volume is just like a big hold that other holds can get drilled into. In most gyms I've been to, they are free game, so you're allowed to like do them for any climbs. But in this gym specifically, if it's a colored volume, it's only for that color, as I was told later. So this wasn't how you're supposed to do it. I was not supposed to use that yellow volume at all for this blue climb. But that's just how I had thought it was in pretty much every gym ever. Turns out not the case. This one has colored volumes for specific holds, specific climbs, sorry. If it's a wall colored volume, then it is allowed for any climb, and that's only like those white volumes, which you might not see any on this wall at the moment. The Quinn got this blue tag as well. Pretty clean. Used the red, which I was like, I think you can do, but then the guy came over and he's like, no, you can't do that. I just touched the red in there and didn't use it, but all good. I think we're still warming up here. I jumped onto the green tag that was over to the left just earlier. Got a better viewpoint on it. For the most part, during these climbing streams, I'm not really doing too much serious climbing. I'm mostly just warming up and doing like 1 or 2 hard climbs. And trying to just stay fresh so I can pull on as hard as I need to and explain as much as I need to about what we're doing and about what other people are doing, and mostly just being a cameraman. So yeah, for the most part, just doing a lot of warm-up climbs like this, and nothing too serious business, because I really can't afford to during all the cameramanning and all the walking around and trying to get everyone else's action happening. So some pretty basic stuff. Got Quinn having a go on that same green tag. So as you can see, as a beginner, it's quite a lot less intuitive as to exactly where you're doing, like what you're placing, what part of a hold you're using, your footwork and all of that. He still does really well and figures things out pretty well. Honestly, Quinn committed himself to something like a climbing sport, you know, lost as much weight as possible, min-max in that way, and dedicate himself to some climbing. He'd be pretty damn good, I think. He has a good muscular build for this type of thing, and his sort of problem-solving skills for climbing seem to be pretty on point. So that would be cool to see, but I'm not sure they have anything like that in Wanganui. And even if they do, don't know if he really cares to give it that hard of a shot. I then pull on the yellow tag, which should be the next step up in grade. But on this wall, honestly, the yellow tag to me felt pretty similar to the green tag in difficulty. I think it is just a bit of a extra unintuitive, difficult move compared to the green, but it doesn't really feel any more difficult when you're at a more advanced level. We'll also say that, as you can see, I'm down climbing. That's a practice I like to do, well, still warming up on the easier tags. So you go up using all those holds and then go back down using those same holds, called a down climb, and just a bit more extra warm-up action that should be relatively safe and controlled. I think Quinn now tries the yellow tag as well, which at that point he discovered that his neck is really starting to hurt, and I think he does take a bit of a break, goes grabs some Panadol, something like that, because tweaked his neck a little, doing something. Not entirely sure what the situation was. I think it was either from the airsoft or climbing, jarring down after falling or something. I don't know. But Nugi tried to help him out with a bit of beta there, and it seems to have helped. Gets him to the next hold. Like I said, stuff doesn't seem too intuitive, so footwork is another big thing for beginners. As you can see, he's using like the middle part of his foot to stand there. You pretty much never do that. You almost always want to be like pressing down with the point of your toes. because that is what gives you a lot better control and focused power, whereas the middle of your foot is just there to like stand on, which doesn't really give you as much control in your footwork. But beginner climbers don't really know that too well, and footwork is something that takes kind of a while to build up and do at the same time as your arm work and your coordination and stuff. So in the end, so that's a bit better there because you don't really have a choice as to where you put your foot. If you get your toe down, press down with it, should be a bit better. Either way, I think that last hold ends up being a bit too far away from Quinn from what I remember, because at this point you have to press down with the toe and pull up with a hand or get a better foot where his knee is right now, which when the hold isn't that good, ends up being a bit too much. Have Steelmage trying the same climb. I think he does all right on it. So decent form there, doing everything he needs to correctly so far. So you got to get a foot up somewhere, there or there. It's hard to trust your feet though as well as a beginner because you don't really know what the holds are like and you don't know what your feet are capable of, etc. But not too far away from getting the top on that one. Moved over to this orange tag on the opposite wall. I think orange is the next step up from the yellow, grade-wise, I think, anyway. This one's a bit of a slabby problem, which means like the wall is a bit inclined and the holds are kind of shit, and it's more about balance than anything. It's kind of hard to tell, but some of these holds were a bit far away, so you had to like position yourself a bit better, swap feet, and just maneuver your way through this a little bit carefully because it was kind of sketchy. Bit of footwork, bit of swapping through, and then I think that last hold was an orange because it looked like it, but it kind of looked like a red. So yep, matched it and went through nicely. You then have Local Identity doing the same climb in a slightly different fashion. So these guys are getting a bit close. Had to like shoo them off. It's like, hey, guys climbing here. Plenty of people when they're new climbing can be very oblivious about that. They just don't notice other people on the wall, or they don't think it's a big deal. But you do need to be like one person at a time. Slightly different beta, as you can see, for someone that's a behemoth of a man. Kind of just like reach through those moves. No real needing to match through sketchily the way I did. I think he ended up skipping like fucking 3 holds there. But still, it was a bit of a sketchy climb, and he got it nicely. And then we give him a bro fist either way. Still well earned. Still gets the bro fist. Another bro fist there. Positive vibes all around. Jumped over to the other side of the gym once again. Another orange tag, still kind of warming up. Pretty big holds on this one. Just a couple of little powerful moves. Nothing too serious once again. It's an overhung wall, so it's like 45 degrees. It starts out like vertical, I think, and then turns into a 45-degree wall. And yeah, not much to that one either. A couple little poppy moves. There are a few hard ones on here. I did later in the day, after everyone left and without the stream on, do those white holds that are in the center of the screen. So it ends up being like a pinch, jump out and hit this hold here with the big cut into a crimp, and then there's a couple crimps at the top. So the white tags are their basically hardest climbs, and it was good to get that one. That's the only real difficult thing I think I completed in the gym. Other than that, we got Nugiyen on the wall as well, doing the same orange tag, which does take a bit of work, but he gets it down pretty clean, I think. And he gets a good few sends in this gym. As you can see, still have to like match through and put a bit of work into getting this one. Giga Chad Nugi, there you go. Chat's impressed. There was another orange tag right next to it on the right hand side that was, I thought, maybe worth doing as well for a bit more warm up. I had a dyno move, dyno being dynamic, so it's something you can't just like reach naturally. You got to do a little bit of dynamic movement or a jump. And then, yeah, it just has a bit of a weird finish that goes off to the side of the wall and just a little bit up. Pretty stock standard stuff. Chat did, of course, want to go down the slide at some point, so me and Quinn decided to accommodate them. And, well, I'll let you just enjoy the beaching of the whale.
Bro. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh. This is not working, bro.
Some beached whale action right here. Dude, what is this slide?
This slide is fucked up. You have to. This is made for children or something, bro.
I mean, it is made for children.
Ah, my back. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Alright.
Jesus Christ.
The whole situation on.
Oh, shit. It's getting dark. Oh. Jesus. Did chat like it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Fuck.
So that was a pretty good time. Then moved over and did another orange tag. This one is a big overhang thing, so pretty big holds. A couple of big moves though. It felt a bit more advanced than most of the other orange tags, but still well within the wheelhouse, and just requires a bunch of heel hooking, bunch of sort of upper body big movements. Ideally, you don't really take your feet off during this sort of climb, but you could easily be doing it by taking feet off plenty and just using your upper body, campusing a bit more. But yeah, that was a fun one for what it is. After that, I think I did what would have been my first real kind of serious climb for the day. Was starting to get a bit warmed up, and this is a black tag, which is their third hardest, maybe third hardest, I think. This is probably about a V5 or V6, so nothing too insane, but it was starting to put a bit of pressure on the old muscles. It's a big overhung roof once again. The holds got a little worse. Some of them are kind of small and crimpy. This one over here around the side I absolutely couldn't see, so I didn't even grab the hold that's on the volume. There's one just right on the point there, and then just a bit of a weird rock over move that requires a little bit of balance and technique, because that hold is shit, and then that hold's a bit better, and then you got to like rock your way over, and managed to flash that one not too badly. Still nothing too hard, but this is the type of climb that starts to actually use some energy and needs some warming up for. So I wouldn't really pull onto that without doing some other level of warm up first. I think this is the point where Quinn walked off to go buy some Panadol for his neck, and I decided to try one of the harder boulder problems in their gym. So their hardest tags are the wooden holds, these things here. They're usually really small holds, and they're wood, so they've got a bit more different texture to them, not quite as much grip, and they're supposed to be something like V9, V10. So this one on the overhung wall was pretty damn hard, and by this point I was kind of warmed up, so I thought, fuck it, I'll give this one a shot. And I knew I wasn't going to get it. There was quite a lot of crimping in this one, which is some serious finger action, and then a couple of hard moves throughout it as well, and I still wasn't sure of the actual beta for it, but either way, gave it at least a shot to begin with. And after trying it a couple times, after trying it a couple times, I did come back to it later and get almost all the way through it, which is pretty good for a climb this hard, for one quick session. So you got a match on that one and then pump out to that one, which surprised me with how physical that one was, so I didn't get it first try. Not too bad. From here you have to like swap your feet through, and then over to that slopey pinch piece of shit. You can do that more static though. I figured that out in a sec. So we'll try again here, I think. Yep. Up through, high foot, flag the foot backwards, and then hit that statically. And then you're off of this, and you have to hit that next fatty crimp. And that's the one I didn't actually stick at any point throughout the day, but I came back later and got up to that point in one go. I think with a little bit more work, I could have sent this climb for the day, which may have been like a V8, V9, which would have been pretty good. So because of doing that sort of small crimpy stuff, I was then educating the chat on what the crimps are like, the small holds are like, and went over to the campus rungs and showed off some of the training and stuff that you're supposed to do, because people see that stuff and they're just like, wait, how do you even grab that? I don't understand. What's the process that goes into that? So then start talking about like climbing and training and getting better with your fingers and strength and tendons and all that. And yeah, campus rungs like this are a large part of the training process once you get to a certain point, but there's certainly not anything anyone should be doing at lower levels of climbing. They would just potentially get you injured instead. So I don't use them too often myself, but I certainly can if I want to up my finger strength. But typically, even at the level I'm at, just climbing throughout the gym and doing various hard problems is enough to get better and enough to still train on. So just giving examples of what they're like, because at the moment, with this setup, we do have a mic attached to like my singlet, and then I can just talk to chat comfortably while doing all this stuff, and that's what I was doing. And that was a pretty nice setup, so just showing off some of the various training stuff that you can do and whatever. And that's when the mic clip slips out. Got to clip it back in. Try and show chat some more of the training stuff you can do on the bigger rungs. So these are much bigger rungs, and you can go like 1, 5, 9 is a big one that a lot of people try and do. So rung 1 to rung 5 to rung 9. I wasn't still in too good of shape or strength for this, so I think the best I've done is a 158 for whatever that's worth, but I'm not doing great by this point of the trip. Yeah, I think I went for a 1.6 or some shit. But yeah, still trying to show off a bit of the training and techniques and shit, etc. Boom. And some of the stuff I tried doing in the past to train, etc. Just like kind of lock-offs and pulls, and yep. More of that is on my Instagram if you need to see that. Then moved back around to the other side of the gym. I saw Nugiyen and Local Identity just struggling a bit on figuring out the beta for this one. So just real quick, they asked, and just showed the ending of this climb. So there's another side to this climb, and just did the second half to show you how to finish it, because there's a bit of a sneaky heel hook action, and then you got to get a match onto it. And then I think one of them do it a bit later. In any case, yep. Actually, yeah, we got Local Identity who jumps on and has a go, and I grab the camera and show the entire climb. So it starts out all the way around the other side of the wall, and pretty controlled stuff. Some of those holds are not very good. They're a bit slopey. And then, yeah, the moves around the corner and that big fat pinch thing. Not very intuitive, and it's just a bit of a strength check. Can you pinch that bastard of a hold and then move on to the next thing? But then the heel hook beta that I had isn't very good for him, because he's like fucking 9 feet tall, and he can't quite comfortably sit on that heel like I do. He needs to instead put his foot probably over here, which we figured out, and then yeah, I think he gives that a shot instead. So beta isn't always going to be universal, and height isn't always an advantage. That is something you learn within the sport of climbing. I think at this point, Quinn wanted Steelmage to feel me up, just to get a feel for what muscles feel like, because I think him and Instability felt me up earlier, and decided that everyone needs to have a go. Oh, it's our boy doing some
Yeah, Local Identity's popping off over here, boy. Yeah. All right, but anyway, the content window is over.
You're doing TOV of getting groped?
Alright, give him a grab, bro. Have a feel, bro. Have a feel.
Get one of these.
No, squeeze it, bro. Squeeze it hard.
Get in there.
How does it feel?
Get a touch of the forearm like that. Look at that.
Jeez, there's crevices.
Yeah.
Jesus. I've seen this in Star Wars or something. There's a fucking monster in there.
There's more grip on that than some of those things.
Yeah, straight up. Just on its veins, dude. On its
Yeah,
veins.
so I'll get on the wall and then you can use me as a prop on the way out.
Oh my god.
I'm glad that did something for everyone. Alright, so that was a bit of a novelty. Just some gauge action. Yeah, always nice to be appreciated. And then we move on to, I think, the overhung wall. And at that point, this is the cave section, and Nugi found a climb he wanted to do, which is a yellow tag and has a lot of movement and a pretty long climb overall. So I think we actually missed him trying the whole thing. We get Steelmage on a green tag to begin with here, because the yellow was pretty advanced, so we gave Steel a shot on the green tag, which is still a step up over the blue, and definitely a little bit hard. I think we're supposed to be watching Steel there. Yeah, I'm just checking out the cave section, because there's a really long problem there, and I wanted to see what it was like. The white holds. I think Steel gets this one pretty well. Actually, maybe not the finish from memory. Because you have to have good footwork for the finish, or just really good upper body, which you're not expected to have by this point of the beginning climbing career. So they are good handles, but yeah, if you're going to just try and match on that at this point, you can see he's going to swing right the fuck out. So they either have really good footwork or have been positioned a little bit better for the swing. So we call that a technical send. Like, we'll give him the technical. It's no big deal. Didn't technically finish, but we'll technically give him the send because it's basically finished. He doesn't have to do that again, right? I then showed Nugi how to do the yellow tag because he fell off on it just a bit earlier. He was well capable of doing it, it's just long, and I think he missed a particular move. So I think he gets it straight after, but yeah, I was just trying to do my best to show the full range of motion and technique that you need to do to not lose your feet on it, because it's very easy to drop your feet on this sort of stuff. Here, I think you basically have to. You have to grab it, turn around, and it goes all the way around this box. It's just a bit of a long, windy climb. So we have to go all the way around. Still pretty good holds, especially near the end there. But once again, this is where you have to get a bit of footwork in. If you're otherwise just going to completely muscle your way through. But ideally, you do try and see what the setters ask of you, and you try and do it to climb as smoothly as possible. So you can muscle your way through plenty of climbs, but typically when you're actually trying to send routes and figure problems out, you try and ask yourself what the setters want from you, what type of movement they're asking, and then try and do that. Because there's usually an intention to every single move. There's a sort of design behind it all, and it should be the easiest possible way to do the climb is the way that's intended. Obviously, sometimes you can muscle your way through things, but then you're also not really learning as much. And good part of all the early to mid climbs is about learning technique for climbing for later climbs. So I always try and encourage people to do things the right way when doing earlier climbs, because you might be skipping a pivotal movement or a pivotal type of move that should be in your skill set by then, that you just haven't taught your body to do because you instead muscle your way through some shit, if that all makes sense. Ultimately, sometimes you do just muscle through a problem because it's easier, or that's actually what they want of you. Who knows? By the way, Nugi does get that yellow tag in the end, and that was a pretty good send from him. I think by this point, Quinn had a bit of a rest because he was trying to wait for those painkillers to kick in for his neck, and gave the green tag a shot as well. So he's not really warmed up anymore, but he's still tired from before and then kind of warm enough, and otherwise neck pain action. So realistically, probably shouldn't have been climbing anymore based off the neck, but yeah, always down for another go. So I don't know if he gets the full send on this. I think he might. Yep, full send. No technical required. Has a bit of a hang as well. Establishes dominance and jumps down. Still neck pain. Quinn does give this yellow a shot, which you can kind of appreciate isn't as easy as it looks after seeing a more beginner style person on it. So like me, obviously been climbing for many years, and then Nugi's been climbing for a few months. Can get through this type of thing, but it's really not designed for someone that's pure beginner. There's quite a lot more to it than it looks, and yeah, you can see with that. So Quinn's got good fundamentals, good strength, decent technique, but you're not really expected to be able to climb yellows by this point, because that's when you really need to start knowing what to do with the holds and how to position your body and all that. I jump on this black tag then on the big overhung section. I don't remember if this is my first or second attempt because I didn't flash it. Flash means first go. I did need a second go to figure out the beta for it. So it's a bit of a strong one. It had really weird movement. Like I was not a fan of what they were trying to go for with this in the end. So I can typically understand what setters want in a route, but either what they wanted was a bit silly or I misread it somehow. Either way, I think I did get through it on the second go and it went pretty well, but it was fairly physical, fairly strong. The holds weren't the best and a couple of the movements were pretty weird. So still pleased I got it without too much effort though. Probably something like a V6 as well. Still nothing too serious, but I wasn't going to be doing anything too crazy. And there we go. Got the send. Do we get a bro fist? We do. So this is basically near the end of the session. Everyone's kind of a bit wiped out and they need to head off because it was going to be a small session to do an escape room before we go for our massive dinner thing. This was the climb from earlier, the wooden holds one, and I gave it another full send try with Quinn filming this time and got it as far as I could, which was through to this slopey piece of shit. And you can see I'm really shaking and struggling at that point, and then going for this next move. If I stuck that, I think it could have been a win, but not bad going from the start to that section. I think it could have gone with a few more attempts or effort, but we had to basically be getting out of there. So as we're about to head out, or as they're about to head out, I stay for just a little bit longer without the stream. I just tried a quick dyno problem. Once again, dynamic problem. It's basically just a one move there. So it was a pretty big dyno. It doesn't look that big from this angle, but gave that a quick couple goes. I think got on the second or third go. The rest of them, not too bad. First time I've ever used holds like that. They're pretty cool holds. Very good grip on them and pretty versatile holds. The white parts are pure plastic, so not anything good, whereas the pink parts are very good, strong texture. I think we may have just this climb as well, if I remember correctly, because I wanted to do something before ending. Yep, just one more climb, because they did have to head off. And you can kind of see it behind Quinn's massive head. There we go. This one wasn't too hard, just another orange tag to finish things off. So they headed off to do an escape room with the families just before we head off for our dinner. And I hung around for like another 30-40 minutes to just climb a bit more because I hadn't put that much work in for the day. And that was the climbing trip for Exilecon. So with that, that was all we did. A couple of streams off of Quinn's backpack. And a week later, I went to Boulder Fest, and I've got some footage of that as well that I'll do some IRL stream recap of. But hope you guys enjoyed the Exilecon bouldering action with the PoE boys and myself. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.